Hi everyone, it's Sam from Sitemate. Permits are authorising documents containing approvals to proceed with usually hazardous types of work. So in this video, we're going to look at how permit workflows can be set up inside of Dashpivot to allow you to track and manage permits with more speed and control. So you'll see that we've already added in an excavation permit. Of course, you can set up different types of permits in Dashpivot, hot works, lifting permits, working at heights, the whole suite. This particular excavation permit has been set up as a workflow because it needs to be signed off by multiple people. The way that that works is if I was to add a permit, it's going to be created and moved into this very first column. And then as each person signs it off, it's going to move from column 1 to column 2 to column 3 and so on. So nothing's been created just yet, so I'm going to go ahead and add a permit. You see that we've got the form already set up. Maybe where it's coming to the end of October, maybe we need to set up a new permit for next month. So we're going to put in the 1st of November until the 30th of November, so 30 days. The permit expiry date is of course the 30th. And you'll see that once I've made that selection, we've got a little indicator over here that tells us when the permit expires. And this is like a counter. So this, tomorrow it's going to say 29, the day after that it's going to say 28. Every single time we open this form, this is going to indicate, how many days are left before this particular permit expires based on the date which is being filled in. So we can go ahead and start to fill out some of these. Maybe we're doing some service relocating, for example. And of course, we can go through this entire document and start to fill out some of these as required. Obviously, I'm just flying through this. You'll notice that we've got some signatures. In this case, because we've got 4 columns in our workflow, we're going to have 3 what we call approval signatures. So you'll see that it tells me that, sign to move this to the next column. And you'll see that we've got 3 of those. So 1, 2, 3 that have this text next to it because it's been set up as an approval signature. And these need to happen in sequential order. So I can't sign this one off until I've done this one, and I'm not going to be able to sign this one off until we've done this one. So if I go ahead and I'll show you how this works. So if I click save, we've now got our permit sitting in this first column, sitting with this permit creator. And if I was to open this up and scroll back down again and click sign, it's going to lock all of this information up here. So you'll see that we can't, change any of this anymore. We can't change those dates or anything. We've got all of that there, and it's moved to the next column because we've signed it off. And the other thing about permit workflows is that we can set up notifications. So, as it moves from the permit creator to the project manager, maybe we want the project manager to receive an email notification via email. So instead of, traditionally, managing permits, you download the Word doc or the Excel spreadsheet, you fill it out, you print it out, you sign it, you scan it back in, email it to someone, back and forth, or you might have to drive to another site to get a signature. So you're losing a lot of time there. With Dashpivot, it's completely different. It's all stored inside of Dashpivot in the cloud. Everyone can access it from their mobile or the website or a tablet. So it's all kept in one place, and it's really easy to sign things off. Coming back to the workflow notifications, basically what we can do is assign people to receive an email notification when a form moves into this column. So in this case, maybe Nick is the project manager. So I'm going to select Nick, and you see that this little icon turns blue, which means that we've turned a notification on, and we can click on that and see who's going to receive a notification. If we want to subscribe ourselves to receive a notification, so, being logged in as Sam, if I can, maybe I want to notify myself, I can click this bell here, and that's going to send me an email notification every time a form moves into this particular column. If I want to receive multiple notifications for each column, I can just go ahead and click the bell in each of these, and you'll see that, yes, I get these messages that tell me that that's been set up. The only other thing that I would say for permits in particular is that we have the ability inside the forms to add PDFs. So if I scroll down to the bottom, we've got a section for uploading attachments. In the case of an excavation permit, maybe it's services drawings. We can easily add those into this form. On the mobile device, we can also mark them up. So we can open it up and add some annotations if we need to, add some required detail and save those inside of the form. And of course, we've got two other features which I'd like to point out. Specific for permits, we've got this manual signature here, which is for, workers who are coming to site, who need to sign on to this particular permit. They won't have, or most of the time, they won't have a Dashpivot account. So in this case, they can click Add Manual Signature. You can do the same thing on the phone, and it's just going to prompt for a first name, a last name, company, and then their signature. So they can just draw their signature, and then that will get stamped onto this particular form. You can add multiple people so that you've got all of those signatures inside of this permit. And the last thing is being able to download it. If you need to take a hard copy out to site, you can click this button up the top here, download PDF. I can click that, it'll put it on company branded PDF. I can take that out to site in case we need to have a hard copy there. Over time, you're going to have more permits sitting in all of these columns, maybe something that looks a little bit more like this. Of course, the great thing about Dashpivot is that, generating a permit register is really easy. We can just convert all of these forms that we've got here, all of these permits, into a register with one click. So you can see in the register view that we've got all of our fields inside the template just organized as columns. And we can scroll across and view all of that information. The great thing about Dashpivot is that we can start to apply some filters here if we need to. So maybe we want to look at all the permits that are about to expire this current month, so we can keep track of all of those there. And we can export this information if we need to. So we can simply make a selection, either all of them or individually, push it into Excel if we need to by exporting a CSV. Or we can download the forms, or we can download this particular register as a PDF. We've got all of that functionality built right in. That pretty much sums up this video for safety permits. If you want to get started with any of the permits inside of Dashpivot, we actually have some available inside our free public template library. So if you click Add Template, we've got this option, Choose from Free Public Template Library. We can click on that, and if we search for permit, you'll see that we've got a series of permits ready to go off the shelf. And of course, you can make any adjustments to the permits which you add to your team as per the requirements of your organization. And that's really how you can set up permit workflows and track and manage your permits with speed and control with Dashpivot.